Hello! Today I would like to talk with you about Kiba Dachi or the horse stance. But first of all, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel in order to support the Yushin Geiko community on YouTube. So Kiba Dachi is a stance that we study quite early in our karate journey because it appears in the third kata in Heian Sandan at the end of Heian Sandan. So how to build a correct Kiba Dachi? First thing, your weight should be in the middle and your feet must be parallel, facing forward, facing the direction of your torso here, okay? So you must be at the same height as your Zenkutsu Dachi, and the size of your Kiba Dachi must be the same as the one of your Zenkutsu Dachi or of your Kokutsu Dachi, and the height should be the same. So your feet must be parallel. If you put your feet like this, all the power of Kiba Dachi is lost and goes sideways. You must be like this, so the feet parallel, or if you have enough flexibility in your ankles, you can slightly put your feet inward and push your heels towards the outside while staying in the stance and pushing your knees outside. So when you're in Kiba Dachi, your knees shouldn't go like this inward. You must push your knees outside like this. So you create a tension here on the knee, here in the ankle. So depending on your flexibility, and of course, if you have some injuries in the knees, you should be very careful here because it could create some tension outside, and you must not try to put too much lateral pressure on your knees. So if you have too much pain on your knees, you can just relax your ankles, relax your feet, and just little more open your feet and just like put your knees more naturally forward. But if you can, try to push your knees outside and try to create this tension on the ankle, maybe by pulling your heels outside. But just think about putting your weight on the edge of your feet here. So your hips are in a neutral position, so don't forget that in Kiba Dachi your hips does not stay like this every time. You can go here, you can just turn your hips, and when you turn your hips, try not to drop your knee inside. Try to push your knees outside and keep this movement. When you are practicing maybe Teki Shodan, you have some moves that start from the hips and from your core muscles and the tendon here. So Kiba Dachi, when you do Kiba Dachi, you are in 50% of your weight on the right and left leg, and your center of gravity is in the center. You must not be in Kiba Dachi like sit down back here. You must have your center of gravity projecting slightly forward, and your hips must not be like this, and you must not put too much pressure on your hips here. You just need to drop your hips down, and when I say drop your hips down, you must not be like heavy and not able to move. You must stay dynamic on your stance because the stance has meaning only if you can move and use it in kumite, while moving, attacking and defending. So you drop your hips and just slightly down, drop your hips, and your back must not be here, but your back should be straight, and your center of gravity must project slightly forward, okay? So this is the fundamental principles of Kiba Dachi. So how to move in Kiba Dachi? This is very difficult to move correctly in Kiba Dachi, especially if you have ankles and hips flexibility problems. So if you cannot make it correctly, please continue working on your hips, hamstring, and of course ankles flexibility on a daily basis. At each training, please spend some time to work on your flexibility. So to move in Kiba Dachi, if I'm like this in Kiba Dachi and I want to move sideways here, first thing, I must not open my foot here to allow my Kiba Dachi to move. Because if I make this, I have pressure here, my Kiba Dachi is very strong, but if I open, I lose maybe half of my power, and the tension, like the spring compression that I have created here, which allows me to move, to react straightly and fastly this way and the other way, is lost. So you must keep this pressure here, and when you move, you must stay here, and when you are in the middle here, my weight is not 50-50 on each leg. My weight is 90%, maybe almost 100% on the right leg. You must not make one and here and you have 50-50 or maybe 70 on the left leg and 30 on the right leg. You must keep the pressure till the last moment. So first thing, do not try not to make even a slight move to prepare. Try think about it, just going from the tanden and moving here. And when you are here, when you go here, your left foot is just on the toes here, is not totally on the floor. And you must not cross your knee here. Your left knee is under your right knee. And you have the pressure here, so you can move forward from here, because you keep the pressure on the right leg. So, I'm moving here, my weight is still here, and then I'm shifting my weight, pushing, and making another Kiba Dachi. One thing, your Kiba Dachi must not be too wide. Sometimes, especially in the traditional world of karate, I see like Kiba Dachi like this, very low, very deep, but you cannot move. This has no meaning. Maybe it's a cool exercise to build strength and resistance in your legs and power, but to have a real Kiba Dachi that makes you moving freely and able to react, to be responsive in every situation, this has no meaning. Also, this is not Kiba Dachi. Too many Kiba Dachi are like this. And when people say, it's difficult, it's hurting my thigh, I have not enough flexibility, please work on it. Because this is not Kiba Dachi. This is not Kiba Dachi. Your Kiba Dachi should be at the same width as your Zenkutsu Dachi. So, not too deep like this, and not too small like this. You must have a Kiba Dachi where you feel comfortable to move. On the right side, on the left side, but also forward like this, and backward. You must be very comfortable in your stance, and it's a general rule in karate. You must build stances where you feel comfortable, where you are able to move forward, backward, to attack, to defend. And like smoothly, lightly, and with speed and power. But this doesn't mean that, okay, I'm very comfortable here, I can move very fast from here, I can move fast from here. Your stance must respect the fundamental principles of each of them. So, for Kiba Dachi, these are all the key points that I explained you just before to create the tension in the stance, here. So, when you move forward, one more time, when you move forward, do not open your front leg, your front foot, because I'm like sideways, but my moving direction is here. Do not open this foot, just try to make pressure here, make pressure, and here. So I'm still on this right leg, and now from here, I'm switching the weight, changing, and coming in a new Kiba Dachi. And you must try to have straightly a correct Kiba Dachi, where you can just go down and finish. This is the aim of Kiba Dachi, to have a good stance, of course, of all the stances, but you must try to have a very strong and powerful stance, where you are able to maybe carry someone and to maybe hit Makiwara. So your Kiba Dachi must be very strong, and you must not, when you push, when you make a punch, you must not go backward. You must always think forward, 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 like forward here in Kiba Dachi. So this is very important. I try to go forward here. I'm not moving my left foot. My right foot is here, still on the toes, and then I switch. The weight is on the right leg now, the left leg is free, and I can just come and make a Kiba Dachi here. So Kiba Dachi is a very beautiful stance to help you build strong techniques, and it's especially designed to work on the kicks, like Yokogeri Age, like Yokogeri Komi. If I'm working on Yokogeri Komi, I go sideways, I try not to open my front foot sideways, so I have tension here, and when I'm going to switch, I'm switching here, so I switch my position, and from Jikuashi, this left leg is becoming Jikuashi, I will push here. So from here, I will push Kekomi and go here. So hitch like this, and I'm switching and going, using the gravity and the repulsion of the earth to project my kick. So of course, if I make it in 2 times, it's not totally correct. I have to make it smoothly here and changing and here. This is Kiba Dachi is a great stance to work on the kicks. And if you work on Keage, if you go sideways here, you must create a tension here. Your leg, your kicking leg must be here. So from here, it's like a coiled spring. Here, there is tension, and you bring back your leg quite fastly with the use of the spring here. But it's the same thing. I want to kick in Yokogeri Age. I'm going sideways, and my kicking leg will be like this, going in Kage. The most important point here is not to raise. I'm here, I must not raise. I change the weight and I raise my Jikuashi, my supporting leg, is raising, and if I'm doing that, I'm losing all my power. I want my power to go forward and not up. So when you are making a kick, it's very, very important to stay low. You stay low here, and you make your kick. You stay low, you stay, and you make your kick. You must try to stay very low in order to project all your power from your supporting leg to your kick. So Kiba Dachi, as I told you, you can also practice Kiba Dachi moving the hips in Kiba Dachi. So if you are like in Tekishodan, you're here from this move, you are not making just nothing happens here. The moves must come from inside, and your hips must be free here. So when you are here, at every count, something must happen from inside. So you're here, your hips here, and hips here. Okay, if you're here, your hips moving. You are not moving your hips just to move your hips, but you have to feel that the power and the moves are generated from your tendon and from your hips. So when you're here, hips, you move your hips every time, and you must try to start your moves from the hips. So Kiba Dachi is a beautiful stance, but it's a very difficult stance to practice and to master. So the next part of the video will be released in the community, and I will share with you one special tips to be able to stay very long in Kiba Dachi, to stay maybe 20-30 minutes in Kiba Dachi without having the legs shaking too much. Also, I will try just to tell you a few words how we can use the idea of Kiba Dachi and the technical setup of Kiba Dachi in kumite. I will show you also 2 or 3 exercises that are my favorite in order to build Kiba Dachi. So I'm waiting for you in the Yushin Geiko community. Please visit yushingeiko.substack.com and you will have many videos about technique, many articles about traditional karate, and you will be able to train with me during live online session, and you will also access the replay, and there is now one live online session per week. So the price is currently very low, but will increase very, very soon. So it is now is a very good moment to join us and be part of this amazing journey of traditional Shotokan karate. So thank you very much for following this video. I hope you enjoy it, and I see you for the second part inside of the community. Os